Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, and I just want to come talk to you guys about some different topics today. So the first thing that I really want to talk to you guys about is this whole African American versus Afro Latino things. And right now, some people who are in the forefront of the media with these topics are Fat Joe and Evelyn Lozada. Also some people who have also been talked about it in that topic of the media is also Cardi B, and she kind of falls into the part of the conversation about cultural appropriation. Now, the great thing about all three of the people that I just named, they grew up A in the 90s and B in New York. Okay, so let's talk a few different things. Um, First off, I want to say that I think this whole Afro Latino wave thing is part of the new generation because first off, like, African Americans slash black people never had a problem with brown people, okay? Two, New York is one of those great places to explain the situation because New York is one of Americans' like melting pots. Like, they have every culture there dagner is, okay? So representation of how America or society treats people is a good place to go is to New York because it's very diverse. Okay. Now, one thing I want to say is realistically, socially, there is a difference between females and males, okay? I'm going to put that off right off the bat. Also, I want to say, just off the tip of Fat Joe, like, I personally, being a fan of music, and like I said, okay, I'm a 90s baby. Now, everybody that I named wasn't necessarily a 90s baby, but was very pivotal in the 90s. Like me and Cardi B, we were teenagers in the, I lied, we're not fucking teenagers, but we were babies in the 90s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we came up in the 2000s, but the 90s raised us, okay? And so when we was little, these are the type of adults and interactions, and this is where we learn our moves and how we move. And I'm saying we because it is a 90s baby thing. Okay. But anyways, like, so for example, for perception with Fat Joe, like, if you just see Fat Joe walking down the street, unless you are of Hispanic descent and you can just notice your own personal features so you can recognize him as someone else, he looks like a light-skinned guy. That also comes to my point that I want to say with people trying to put us against each other and stuff. Like, I was watching State of the Culture, and Jinx, I really I like you. You know what I'm saying? I like the whole panel, and I like the new girl too. I like how y'all all got true passion about what y'all saying with education behind it as well. So I really like that y'all can articulate that and do that for the culture. But Jinx, is being as smart as you are, I don't see how you don't see that excluding the slavery part of it, everything that America has done to us African Americans or what they're now doing with the Latino community. So as much as we as niggas, they're niggas too. And that's the thing I want to talk about within this too, the title of nigga. Nigga is a person of color. Keyword is color. Not no specific color, just color, because color is everything but white, okay? Nigga is a person of color who is supposed to be inferior to whites, which is basically every fucking body that's not white. And then when they have the inferior whites, they call them white trash. Okay? I'm going to digress a little bit. So, Jinx, for you to say that the Spanish people and the Latino people and the Latinx don't understand our plight is dead ass wrong. For you to think, well, for you to speak as if like the Latino community just came about. All of this is like because of the social climate that's going on right now, okay? A lot of these things and actions are being spoke of in our everyday lives, not just in front of cameras, not just to celebrities. So I think that's where a lot of these attitudes are coming from, because I believe it's an agenda that's being pushed out in the world, and we're seeing it overflow into people who are in the spotlight. So that's where these conversation things are coming from. Now, a point to what Remy Ma was saying and what Fat Joe was saying was like, basically, when an officer or someone pulls up, it don't give a fuck what particular ethnicity you are. I can clearly see you not white, so you a nigga. And so they get the same treatment we get. And personally, unless there was like Latina, don't get me wrong, Latinas, and I'm saying AS, because I'm speaking on girls from this point of view, they will stick together if there's a group of them. But if there's not a group of them, with Latinas will go either to the whites or to the blacks. So they pick that. And Amara La Negra spoke on it, that there is social racism within the Latinx communities. So in those places that are not America, where it is all the same people as far as nationality goes, it is still a skin tone complexion type thing. So that is one type of level of social levels and justice to it. Now with this whole Evelyn situation, I do kind of, I will subscribe to the fact that Evelyn thinks she's black. And I say that to say, because the way she's portrayed on TV, and like I said, I'm saying it portrayed on TV because I don't know this girl personally, is that her community of friends are African American. And that goes to my point too. We've never shunned the Latino community, because in the beginning there has been a increase of the Latino community coming over into America, but that's never been, there wasn't a problem before. And the only reason it's trying to be a problem now is because that's some stuff that's been put out there politically. Like, if you're anywhere, like if a bunch of us went to, I don't know, let's say we want to go move to India. Okay, of course you're going to mix and mingle with Indian people. They're the majority. But if there is a group of Americans and there's an American bar, you're more than likely going to gravitate towards that, because that's what you're familiar with. That's not, you understand how they think to a certain extent. You know how people move. So to try to create this social injustice between the black and brown, when we're all black and we're all brown, because both cultures, races got the same exact shade. I can go find a Spanish person and I can go find a black person, the same complexion, and vice versa. Okay, so we need to scratch that. The only difference between them and us is that they still have a heritage and an actual culture to connect to. We don't. So other than that, like, quit playing, because my biggest issue is with us being lost people, and I mean that as African Americans, the actual black people. We don't have no ability to down talk to any other race, because that could very well be what our genetics is made up of. We do not know. So this whole new thing, I'm not about to subscribe to this black and brown thing, because truth be completely told, if we're going to move forward here in America, we going to need to get together with everybody, all the immigrants, all the people who are not born in America. You know what I'm saying? Because there's problems here in America, so we need to get as much help and allies as we can, because we already have enemies where we are. Okay, so to try to create a social war between blacks and browns, I'm not gonna do it. And I say browns because there's some social injustices. I mean, there's some racial tensions for the Indian culture and all the different Latino cultures, because Puerto Ricans aren't the same as Mexicans, and then Brazilians. Like, everybody, every culture has their sense of pride, and they still have their social structure, so they're going to act and look at things a certain way. So with that being said, like, there's always going to be a person who has a sense of feeling prideful that can come off offensive, but we're not about to get lost in the sauce with all of that. As far as, you know, the reality is that Americans, both black and white, fantasize about exotic, and exotic is anything that's not black or white. So with the Latino community, they are that attainable exotic thing for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, at first the thing was like Asians, and oh my God, they're so exotic. But the Asian culture, like I said, unless you get that one or two who integrate in with whatever society they're in. So if you're an Asian family who moved into a black community, your child's more likely going to have black tendencies. If you're an Asian community that moved into a white community, your child is going to swing more towards the white community. So with that being said, usually the Asians stick together to keep their traditions and things going, so that even though they're away from home, their native land, they're still not lost in how they decide to live their lives. So they usually stay within their culture. But everybody, every race loves what we as the lost people get together, decide to create, to move, to enjoy and express life. Because although we are removed from our homeland of Africa, and we don't know which part of Africa we came from and which part we're mixed with, stuff that is naturally within us is still going to manifest. And the thing that we all seem to agree upon is that people originated from Africa. So if you subscribe to that notion, how can you sit there and fight and argue with your brothers and sisters? Like, that don't make no sense. And that's what I be highly upset with these half woke, drowsy people, because you woke and you're doing these movements and you're this and you're that, but then it's like, it's just for publicity. It's just for like a quick little notoriety. Because I feel like, okay, if there's 7 groups that are doing the same thing, why aren't those 7 groups together? Like, why is everybody being a finger when we can be a fist? You know what I'm saying? We can be a force together to be reckoned with. And then on top of that, I've always personally loved the Spanish culture, because myself, when I first found out about Dominican people and I saw them, I said, oh, those are just black people who speak Spanish. So you know what I told myself? I told myself, when I have kids, I'm going to teach them Spanish and I'm going to tell them they're Dominican. Because who's going to be able to look at them and tell them they ain't? You know? So, but that's just one of those perceived notions that I was saying. But another reason that I want to do that is so that I want my children to be able to have some sense of a culture, to something they can look into and be proud of. You know, as African Americans, we can be very proud. But the movement, people act like we stopped, and that's the thing. Like, the momentum and the movement is starting to die down, and it's like, no, baby, we still need to be moving, and we need to be moving forward. And while we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people moving forward, we need the collective to move forward. And we're not going to be able to do that by trying to tear down other people and tear down each other. And that's my thing. I'm not about to subscribe or have the people I'm around subscribe to trying to hate on brown people, when we need to get together with them brown people that still got roots to their home, to see how they cooking their foods, how they doing different things, because they still have organic things that they do. They're not fully processed like us. We have been processed and been through the process, and we know our system isn't good. So let's work with one each other so we can fix America, because at the end of the day, regardless of what you want to say about the people who came here illegally, their children were born here legally. So they are Americans. So if we stop fighting each other, band together, and have us all put our powers together to vote, we can actually make a change. Personally, people all be so excited to be an adult because they can drink, they can smoke, they can rent a car, they can say they grown. But the reality is, once you hit 18, the responsibility isn't just you no more. It's your country, it's your people. It's the reason you feel like when you've been voiceless, now you finally have a voice. You can sit down, take the time, forget what everybody else doing, research the people who are going up for these offices and putting a person in office who can stand by you and who you believe in. But if you don't even believe in nothing, or you don't even stand by nothing, you can't go stand by somebody to represent you, because you don't even know what you're doing. So my homework to everybody who's listening or who comes across this is to take time, figure out what you need in life, and then how that could be achieved and what seems to be stopping you. Once you figure that out, figure out where those particular principles and laws come from and who actually put those different things in motion, so that those people can take care of you and people like you. We're coming up on November, and it's presidential election season. And why this is very, very, very important, the truth is, even if you vote for the president that you want, if the offices below him aren't in order, it don't matter what he say, the bills won't be passed through. That's another thing. If y'all bored, y'all confused, y'all forgot what's going on, go to your local 7th grader, 8th grader, go pick up their social studies book, because that's exactly what it is. It's the studies of social interactions and how we're all moving. And it's like, y'all want to pay attention to all this other stuff. Y'all need to pay attention to these bills, these taxes, where y'all money going. Y'all voting for people who are putting your brothers and sisters in jail. Y'all are, like, a lot of these judges and things of that nature, they have to be voted in. You know, it's a lot of things that we have power to do, but we don't use our power. And that's the thing that's really sad for me and our community, because we got all of these popping people out here pushing clothes and waist trainers and all of this stuff, but they not pushing education. And that's what I want to say to the people of color who are in positions of power. You know, see, the trick is they tell you to don't speak politically. That's what everyone tells you. We're going to stay neutral because political can have big effects. Yes. So that's exactly why you need to learn about politics and tell people. You don't have to tell people do what I do, but let people know what you do, so your followers can at least follow what you're doing. You know, like, have a platform with a purpose, not just a platform for a picture. And that's what I really want to say. And that's what I really want to push. And yeah, that's my little rant. That's a little bit that was in my mind, on my heart. And I really genuinely care about people. And that's one of the things that keeps me in a state of depression sometimes, because our society as a whole has all of this knowledge and has all of this power, but yet we're not using it. And I'm just a small person. I don't know how to get people to do the things that matter. You know what I'm saying? I can't do everything. And even if I could, I'm not in a position of power to make all the effective changes that may be done. So what I want us to do is be able to get together, have those communities let us know, well, who runs this, who's in front of this, what job entitles you to do A, B, and C. So then we have A, B, and C problems. We know who the right authority is to go to, opposed to wasting our breath somewhere with someone who can't make a difference anyways. So thank you for listening. I'm your girl, Paris Morgan. And this was just a little, like I said, a rant and some real insight that I want all of our people to wake up and unite. And when I say all of our people, I mean if you're brown. I mean if anybody in your family is brown, you need to unite with them and your neighbor, because if we keep trying to fight our neighbors, then our communities will never be able to come together to be a better society, to be a better country, to be a better system, to be a better world. So my goal is world peace. And truth be told, I believe I can see it within my lifetime. I'm only 25, so I still got at least a good 75 years that I can see change happen. And we have the technology and we have the voices and everything to make it happen. I can talk to somebody because of the World Wide Internet in a whole nother country if I wanted to, in a whole nother state. So the limitations is only you. So let's get together. Let's support, let's be a community, and let's rise above all the negative things that's trying to keep us down. And shout out to my white people who don't subscribe to the hatred and who wants a better world too, because you guys do exist. You guys do need to be acknowledged, and I salute you.